In the name of Allah, the most merciful, all praise is due to Allah. May Allah peace and the blessings upon the Prophet Muhammad, his family, his companions, and upon all previous prophets, Moses and Jesus and Abraham. We are Muslims. We make no difference among all of them. لا نفرق بين أحد منهم ونحن له مسلمون. Dear respected viewers, thanks to God that Allah make us a Muslims and characterize our ummah as a ummatan wasata, that a moderate and just ummah. Alhamdulillah alladhi ja'alana muslimin, and we bear witness that there is no one be deserved to be worshipped except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Muhammad is the last messenger. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, Inna awwala baytin wudi'a linnasi lalladhi bibakkata mubarakan, that the first house that has been built for the human being, for the whole bashariyah, for the human, is a house that has been built in Mecca or Bakka, which is another name for Mecca, which is in Saudi Arabia.
إن أول بيت وضع للناس للذي ببكة مباركا وهدى للعالمين.
In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate. Indeed, the first house established for mankind was that at Mecca, blessed and a guidance for the worlds.
That the first house that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala established and set up for the humanity, the house of Allah is Al-Bayt Al-Harami, which is in Mecca, or it's another name for Mecca.
Welcome back, and as we earlier talked about, boosting and empowerment the small and medium enterprises is one of the main targets for sustainable development. And we have over the years and in history, we have seen and observing what's happening worldwide on an larger economic vision. We could see that many economies have boomed, and many economic powers have boomed out of small and medium enterprises and small businesses. Of course, when we talk about small and medium enterprises, we talk about empowering the new generation to innovate, to come up with initiatives, to come up with new ideas, and it's the government's role or some other sectors to be able to empower and enforce these projects. And on the other details, we're very delighted to be having with us here live in the studio Dr. Zeinab Radwan, and she's an economic lecturer. Good morning, Dr. Radwan.
Good morning.
Good morning, Doctor. Starting, of course, when we talk about SMEs in general, we have to admit, of course, as we all know, that SMEs is the main pillar of building strong economy in any country, and we have seen this in different countries, actually, and major power countries. But when we come to talk about it here in Egypt, first of all, how do you evaluate the small and medium and very small or micro enterprises so far here in Egypt?
For the small and medium, for the micro, small and medium enterprises here in Egypt, first, we have about 2.5 million projects of micro, small and medium enterprises working currently in Egypt. It represents about 98% from the private sector. And also we talk about 75% from the employment opportunity. It is located in the micro, small and medium enterprises. However, still a lot have been done to the small and medium enterprises. A lot of initiatives, a lot of fruitful initiatives have been done to this sector, but we still have some sort of leakages. We still have some sort of problems that we need to work on. Part of it related to some extent to the government, part of it related to the culture of the community and the culture of doing business here in Egypt. So still we need a lot of effort to be done from the individuals and also from the government. But definitely we have, in terms of number, in terms of size and of volume, we have 2.5 million projects, which could be a good seed to start and to build on it and to build for further projects and for further plans for this sector to be enhanced.
Right. Well, we need to talk about first, in order to be able to assess a plan or a strategy and a full assessment of all these projects, we need to know the volume of these projects. If you talk to us about the volume of these projects.
The volume that we have, I just said it's 2.5 million projects, but we still have a leakage for the number of the project that is working in the industry. Still in Egypt, a big portion from these 2.5 million projects still working in trade and also in services. The services sector, which is fine, presenting services, which is okay. However, we need that most of them should work more in industry. If we talk about the value added of the small and medium enterprises to the industry in Egypt, we'll find it to be 7.5%, which we see it is still a minimum. What we want to do for the small and medium enterprises sector, first we need to work on a layer of the economy, in-depth layer of the economy. I will tell you what are the problems of the small and medium enterprises here in Egypt, and also for the micro enterprises. Access to finance. We already have an initiative for the financial inclusion. Now we have banks is offering loans for from 5 to 7% interest rate, which is a low interest rate compared to any other interest rate that is being given to a private sector project. We have several initiatives here in Egypt for the Authority of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, the Development Authority, that is providing a lot of training courses to the small and medium enterprises and also helping them to get loans. However, we still need to work more to reach the very poor areas in Egypt. We still need to work more in training the people on how to do a visibility study, how to put a pricing system, how to go into the international market. If you are able to market for yourself here inside Egypt, what you're going to do if you like to reach a market in India, in Europe, in the USA. So we still need to do this effort for the small and medium enterprises here in Egypt. Also, we need for the financial inclusion to go deeply in the poor places and the poor villages here in Egypt, and to talk with people about how to get a loan, the importance of getting loans, why should I start to work on my own with a small project, the registration, and to be moving into a formal sector, because part of the problems that we have here in Egypt is the informal sector. Most of the micro and small and unfortunately medium enterprises, and if we focus about the micro, it's informal sector. So you can see how they do work. You can see their input to the economy. They will be reluctant to get loans. They don't like to go ask for a registration and to go into formal lines.
Doctor, if you allow me this important part that you are tackling, I was just going to ask you about, talking about the informal economy. And we have recently seen an initiative also by the President tackling this part in particular, the idea of the inclusion, the idea of just building trust between the government and these people to be included in the formal economy, because definitely we have a huge amount of money and a great number of people working in this part in particular. So helping them to come out into the light and to work and to be supported and to be included in the informal economy, this is another important part. I mean, working in parallel, whether we're giving the way for people who would like to start a new project, and the existing small and medium enterprises that are taking place on the ground to work and to give them the space so as to work and to have more when it comes to the competitive advantage, to the efficiency, to importing and exporting, a lot of things actually.
To transform part of this informal into formal sector, it has two sides. It has two sides. A coin which has two sides. One of them is the government, and the other is the projects and the enterprises themselves. Unfortunately, people, they do feel, when I just go and talk with them in several places here in areas in Egypt, they are reluctant to be registered. They don't want to pay taxes. There is no difference.
There were talks regarding the taxes.
They don't want to be bigger. They are just fine being in this scale. I started to talk with them. It's important for you to be formal because you have to grow. You have to increase the number of workers. You have to export. You have to add something to the community and even to yourself. So part of it related to the culture in our community. Some of them, they are just happy of the state or whatever the situation they are in, and they are satisfied. And they have such a sense like saying, if we became formal, this means that we are going to pay more taxes, and we don't want to pay more taxes. This is why it became the rule of the government, and this is what the government had actually done. But still, we need more awareness to the people. For the income tax law, law number 91 for the year 2005, there is 10 years exemptions for any project that is working in agricultural reclamation, animal production, fishery. And also there are 5 years exemption for any project who is going to take or to get a loan from the Micro, Small and Medium Development Authority. But unfortunately, people doesn't know this. we still need to give the people more awareness that if you became Formula 1, you will have such exemptions or you will have such tax holidays. And also for the value-added tax, also there is exemptions for any projects or enterprise that their annual income is less than 500,000 Egyptian pounds annually. So there are sort of encouragement that the government started to do to encourage these enterprises to work. However, again, it's related to the government to start to work on more awareness to the people, and also for the people to change their cultural and their views, because they have to pay taxes. This is part of their rule, and this is part of their obligation to the community. If you work and you earn money, you have to pay a portion to the government. So it's again, it's two-sided point of view, and we have as doctors who are working in academic, people who are working in the field, in economics and in industry, to talk with people and to let them understand that this is important for them to be a formal economy and just to leave the informal sector.
Let me take it from here and talk about initiatives that empower and support this particular business or small and medium enterprises. There are several initiatives and very innovative, very inspirational. If you'd like to elaborate over them.
First, we have the initiative of the financial inclusion. This initiative started maybe 2 or 3 years ago. For all the banks working in Egypt, they started to give loans to the small and medium enterprises with a very low interest rate from 5 to 7%. When we give a project or an enterprise a loan with a low interest rate, means what? I'm just doing a saving. I'm just trying to decrease the cost of the project. I'm also helping the project to flourish. Because if you started as a project at a certain scale and you'd like to expand and you need money, of course, for all the projects, if you became formal and you started at a certain scale and you'd like to expand, so once you expand, so you'll be able to produce more and you will be able to export to other countries. So how can I do such an expansion without finance? So this is came the part of the financial inclusion initiative, that giving loans with a low interest will of course help a lot of projects to flourish and to expand, and this is part of the equation. It's getting more money, so they will be able to produce more. Part of it also, and I just had talked about, it's about the taxation and the taxation exemptions. This is part of the equation. Also the training. We have several initiatives. One of these initiatives, and still it had been working since years and it's continuing right now, that for the authority of the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Authority, they are doing a hell of work. They are presenting a lot of loans. Also, they gave the project the direction, the enterprises, the small and medium enterprises, they give them the direction, how to plan, how to grow, how to work on your pricing strategy, how to market for yourself, and also they are helping such projects to market for themselves inside and outside Egypt, which is, of course, it's very important. Part of the initiatives also started to appear in some of the universities here in Egypt. This is started to be like what we call spin-off, to start an idea within a university and to work on it in terms of research, and then you will find a company. This company will finance such an idea to expand and to grow. So we started for some universities here in Egypt also to work on this. Also, we have an initiative from the Central Bank for the innovative projects. So if you have an innovative idea, so we will finance you, we'll give you a support in terms of access to finance. So this is what we want to do. We want to, first, on the existed sector, we want them to be, for those who are informal, to be formal, and for those who are informal to be formal. We want them to expand, and also we'd like to encourage the new ones and the newcomers to enter the market, so they will start with new ideas and get finance, and then doing their own work about the processing and production, and then marketing inside and outside Egypt. And this is how the chain starts.
So we can say that we have two different parts or two sides. The first one, for example, the one who has the idea, but he needs to be funded, and he doesn't know from where to start. And on the other side, there are some people who want to work, but they don't know what to do or what kind of thing that they can start. So I believe now we have two different people or two different persons. Both of them, they wanted to start their small project, of course. And so far we can see the efforts exerted by the government for both. I mean, now we have an entity. I would like to elaborate on this. If I don't have the idea I want to work, they will support. If I have the idea, I don't know the know-how, still they can support.
If I don't have the idea, I can simply go to the micro, small and medium enterprises development authority, and I can go because even on the website of this authority you will find a lot of ideas. Even it's published on their website. So if I don't have the idea, I can go to the website and visit the website of the authority and start to have a multi of ideas. I can go even and give them a visit. And this is what one of my students had done. She went to the authority by herself and started to talk with people there. What type of ideas? What will be the cost? How you are going to help me? So how can I get an access to finance? And of course, the authority of the small and medium enterprises development is helping the enterprises in terms of ideas and also doing the registration, how to get to be licensed. In every stage the entrepreneur is going to work on, the authority is going to help him or her in these different stages. So this is very important. What else if someone also have an idea and doesn't know how to do how to finance it? We started, and this is also, it's maybe 10 years ago, we started to have what we call here in Egypt venture capitalists. Venture capitalists, these are companies, maybe it's private sector companies, maybe it's some of the companies that have been established by banks. The role of these companies is what? Is to welcome any new idea and to start to work with the entrepreneur step by step and to help the entrepreneur step by step and to get a percentage from his profits at the end. So we have it here in Egypt since 10 years ago, and they used to have a good rule in the supporting the small and medium enterprises. But we still have a leakage for the micro enterprises. The micro enterprises, we're talking about that the small projects, which is less than 10 in the number of workers.
In size. But if you allow me, Dr. Radwan, we're going to go to a short break and we'll come to continue our conversation about the micro enterprises. Stay with us.